Hey yo, welcome to We Talk Show episode number 6. And tonight topic is gonna be about family. We about to get down. Hey yo. Hello everybody on YouTube and on Twitch. Get ready. Alright, for tonight's topic, family. This is huge for anybody from young age to the old age. Some people freak it out soon. Some people not freak it out until they gray and old and almost go down to the ground. So let's talk about this important subject tonight. So what is a family? Alright? That is the most basic question to for tonight's topic is what is the family? So based on research, a family is all the descendants of a common ancestor. So like everybody coming from one couple, and that couple make more the children. And the second one is a group of one or more parents and their children living in a house. So they are the same context and definition is you have the parents and they give birth for their children and their children get married and they live together or live separate, but they have related together in the same household. So that is the family, is people that actually related with you, have the same blood with you, right? That is a family. So who are the main members that build a family? So we have father, we have mother, right? People that have the same blood with you, male, female, or not the same blood. We can still have a family even though they are not carrying the same blood as you. That is the case when we're talking about same-sex marriage and adoption. You can be adopted by some people and they become your parents even though they not give birth to you, but they still your parents, right? So that is the second case. That's the main member that build a family is either same blood or not the same blood, right? And all the descendants we are including the relatives too. The relatives is more like the outside a little bit. Like they still together, they still have the same blood as you, but it's not close connection like the people who live in the same family, like father, mother, sibling, stuff like that, right? So what is the main purpose of a family? So a couple definition here for the purpose of a family. So primary responsibility for education and socialization of children as well as instilling values of citizenship and belonging in the society. I want to emphasize the word instilling right here, which means let you know where you're coming from, the environment that's surrounding you, what is good about it. This is so essential for family. The second definition is they are the fundamental building block of a strong society. To have society, we need families, right? We need people to build a society. And the last definition that I have is family values influence decisions people make both within the structure or outside of it. So which means is your family can influence you making decision in life either is inside the house or outside the house. So let's have a summary right here. The first one, the first definition for the purpose of a family, the first purpose is responsibility for education and socialization. Second is to build a society, a strong society, to build a strong society. And the third one is influence making decision, either inside or outside. So those are the main three purpose of a family that we have for tonight's discussion. To be honest, family can do more than that, but that is a pretty solid three answer that we can have for tonight when we're talking about family. Let's break it down further for like the education and socialization. Let's break it down that one first. So education, we have a lot type of education, but actually three that I have talked on the last episode about education and family. For this time, we're talking about home educated things that we've been taught inside the house. So like we've been passed down by our parents or grandparents. So things is more relate in manners, things that are about etiquette, things that how to treat people, how to make people feel that we are one, we are together. Make people feel that okay, they are accepting you, stuff like that inside a house, and some house value. If you come from a family that you are rich and wealthy, you guys have a own agenda inside the house, like how you're gonna act, how you are gonna talk, and many other things that different vary from family to family. Like there's a couple behavior that's allowed to do in a certain house and the other don't. So the house education, to me, there's the two things that's important that in family can be taught for any children inside the house is the attitude towards life. That's the first one. And the second one is educate about how to handle rough situation. And that is the main thing. Because they can give you experience that have been passed down, they've been tried, but the kids have to try it out when they're growing up. So like in the house is more about life experience more than formal education. Okay? And the citizenship is explain where you're coming from and things you do as that people from that nation. So this is, important, not important. Many debate about it, but the thing that I see important of understanding citizenship is understanding your rights and understanding the law, basic law and your rights, what you can do, what you cannot, to protect you from trouble. That's the main thing that in the house people always try to help you out. Is like, don't do drugs, don't do things that bad, don't stealing, don't do things that illegal, so you stay out of trouble. That's the main thing, right? And now we go down to the building block of the society. So families are responsible for reproductive purpose of human population. So like every family is a small building block for the strong society. But to be able to have a strong society, we need a strong family too. And education, health, and mental health, and many other things that family have to have financially, go on and on. Like that family have to have a really solid background as themselves as a solid block to actually become a solid building block for the society. And that is the fundamental building block means right there for family is they are people that capable of doing things. That family have influence, power, knowledge to doing something to contribute to society. And the third one is influence decision making. This is really huge, and we're going to go in more detail for tonight's discussion about this one is making influencing on decision making. So like the kids who live in the house, you know that outside, like the world outside and the world inside the house is different. We play by different rules of laws, right? In the house, we have some exception. Things go by easier. Outside the house, things go a little bit more rough. Like straight up, right? In the house, it's more like, okay, if you make a mistake, we fix it, go on. But like outside is different. So like this one can influence the kid in a good way or bad way. And we're going to break it down further, okay? Let's get a sip of water real quick, people. All right. So let's go to the question, who is the leader of the house when it comes to family? This is interesting. Mom or dad? Female or male? Right? To me, it's either one. In right now society, 2022, either one can be the leader of the house. But why man's always be the head of the house throughout human history, through the past like 5,000 years of human history, why man's is always the head of the house? You know, patriarchy, stuff like that. The man is the top and rule every other people inside of the tribe, stuff like that. So male is, let's break it down. What does male can do? So male dominance of moral authority and control of property is what is the old standard going for. The patriarchy system is the man controlling the decision making and the property inside the house, right? And some patriarchal society, the property and the title are inherited by male, not female. So like if you are the parents and you pass away, your legacy going to be carried on by the male, not the female. But that one can be changed in nowadays society. And many people debate that because of that rules and that system, the patriarchy system, male dominant is creating inequality. The root of inequality. So let's go break it down some of the root of the inequality of why we're having this system. So the first difference is genetic and reproductive differences between man and woman. So man, genetically, we have a strong body. Big, broad shoulder, tall. Women get wide hip. It's good for reproduction purpose. We build different. Man and woman build different and serve different purposes. And gender equality is an inherent part of human society, and this one is pretty true. It's because if you look at the past, because of that inequality, men's and women do different things. Like men's go to war, fighting. Women staying at home doing stuff, cooking, sewing, doing things that more relate to art. That's easy, soft, instead of sharp fighting, sweat out, stuff like that versus man. And those are things that got mixed up nowadays. Is women trying to do the same thing as man does. Is the fight to have the own sweat, stuff like that, things that men do in the past and even still right now. And we got it mixed up is both can do either thing. Man can do the woman stuff and women can do man stuff. And we're going to break it down a little bit further. And that is the mix up of inequality nowadays. We're trying to solve that. We're trying to be equal, right? We're trying to solve that. The provider, the controller. That is two big words, or a provider and controller. And that's in the past 5,000 years, that is men. Man is the provider of the house, right? The wife stay at home feeding the kid. The man go to work all day, going back, bring the money back, and control what's going on inside of house. If the sofa is moved a certain way, the TV switch, time to go to bed, stuff like that, the man making a decision, right? But right now, that thing can change too. And another thing that can be the root of inequality is gender roles and gender inequalities are instruments of power and have become social norm to maintain control over women. This sentence right here it's make me confusing a little bit. What I'm asking is gender roles. Like who first come up with the roles of what humans should do and what like when this goes specifically what men should do and what women should do, because based on what we see already is based on physical appearance. It's like man is stronger, so we do the heavy lifting. Women is have more soft bone, smaller than men, so do things that lighter. So most of the time it's based on physical appearance, right? But right now women can be stronger than men too. Depends on that lady working out or not. If she's working out and she's in good shape, you don't want to mess around. And right now, since we're not just competing on physical appearance, because back then we use less brain, more hands, like hunter gatherers, stuff like that, working hands all day instead of using brain. But right now, men's and women have the same education, so like man can produce things and women can do produce things at the same time. So like it started shifting the balance right here, people. And the weird thing is like though gender inequality become a social norm throughout the evolution of a human, is man do a certain thing and the old tell the young you have to do that, and it's keep going on into today. And we started to do study on it of why we still having that, and right now people understand that it can be changed, and we fight for inequality and more right for women and stuff like that. We're gonna go more detail into it. But the interesting about that sentence is control over women. I don't understand why this have to come to controlling over somebody. It's like that sentence make me feel like women become an object instead of a human. Control, like you control your own pet, you control your car, you control things that like an object, not a subject as a human. And that thing is kind of weird right now. The controlling stuff. I feel like we can fix that, right? It doesn't have to be like that all the time. If your woman don't want to stay with you, she have the right to leave you, man. Like there's nothing wrong with that. But controlling over everything is psychopath, okay? And I think in the past of the reason why people are trying to prove that, the man of the house, I'm the husband, I control over my wife, is to prove that they are the dominant, nature, stuff like that. Like in nature, the man is like have the power, control over stuff because the physically stronger, they can do harm. You feel me? I think that's the only thing that nature offer is the physical appearance different. So like you stronger, so you dominate the other. But in a civilized society, that thing is not a deal anymore. So like the dominant is more about what is up here instead of what in the muscle most of the time. So we changed that. We changed that. So to summary, that part is inequality for the past 5,000 years. It's become an inherent, right? A legacy. But right now, those things change over time since women and men learn each other better, understand each other better, and share life together. Share the thing, the roles, the job, the chores, anything that when they live together. So life get a little bit more cooperating instead of separating all the time. Like you have to do this or you have to do that, right? And the leader of the house can be either one. The one who's smarter, make better decision, get better educated, can produce good quality answer for any problem coming up. That one become the leader of the house or both. Because family and relationship are agreements. Both of them have to be agreement to make a decision, right? So y'all always have the right to talk to each other before making any decision instead of just one leader like a king of the house make everything, right? Feel free on that. Don't feel too stressed on who's the leader. Both of y'all are leader of your family. Man and woman, man, female, female. Doesn't matter. So if right now we lean toward the traditional way of family is one man, one woman, one father, one mother. So what is the role of the father in the house? Like I said, in nowadays society, it can range from many things. But in the traditional way, I have four category that I break down for a father usually do in the house. First one is get a heads up on a hard time. So like when things happen in a family, either to the children himself or herself, or to a whole family as a unit, the father usually the people who making the decision with a cold head, not with a hot head, like trying to give a heads up on everybody on how to solve this, and he make the decision for the whole house. Second is to be a role model. Be a role model really important because a kid's grown up without a hero, a role model. They would not have a really high standard to live in a society that continuously changing. So father of the house is become a role model is really important. It's like the kids don't have to be exact same thing like his or her dad, but because of the high standard of the father, encourage the kids to be better. You feel me? And that is the job of being a role model as a dad. Next thing is guidance and knowledge. So the father, the head, the leader, the one that have all the knowledge, the one that have all authority, right? His responsibility in the house is responsible to teach his children about what he know, give down, pass down what he already know to make them become better. So give them guidance when things get hard, how to become a good person in life. Give them the knowledge on any field that they have question that the father might know. Give them things that helpful information. You know what I'm saying? So the kid can learn from that and be better in life instead of making so many mistakes that can be harm for them. And the fourth one is confident and leadership. Men and women are need confident and leadership in some form of way. Confident to be able to say what you mean and mean what you say. And leadership is to know how to listen and how to lead and know how to choose when to be which. Really important in society. In either when the day they create their own family or work in a corporation or working with somebody. Be a leader or be a listener are both important. And that is the thing that a father responsible to teaching their kid is confidence and leadership. So how about the mom? Right? How about the mother? Let's take a sip of water real quick. Let's take a sip of water. And then we're going to talk about the mom. So, the classic mom. Four things. Same thing as that. Four things. First one is loves and cares. When the kids come back from school, warm hug from a mother is amazing, right? It's great. Care is know how to care for people inside the family. Care for your brother, your father, your mother, your siblings. Know how to taking care of people around them. Loves and cares. Second is family value. The mom is responsible to teaching the kid about what is the value of a family. How does the family mean to her, to the mom, and explain to the kid of why they need to understand this value and how they should apply this to themselves. The kid don't have to be exact same thing like the mom said, but it is crucial for the kid to understand what is a family and what are the good value that they can learn from this family, from their parents, and from their sibling, right? Next one is communication, how to talk in a good manners, how to keep your etiquette up, how to talk with the elder, how to talk with the younger, and be responsible for your words. And that is really crucial as an adult, is understanding the consequences of your words when you say anything out. And lastly, and this one is more like a man role, but I want to choose this for women roles because I know that nowadays women are doing this pretty well compared to men. Is finance, money. Usually in the past, the man go to work, the women keep the checks, but not many women have a really good finance skill to make that money grow. But right now, it does happen. The women's right now get more educated. Some women know really well about money, can make their family money growing up really fast when her husband bring back the big check and her personal check to how to grow personal wealth. So this one is crucial in nowadays skill set for anybody is the finance. And women can treat this for a really good because women are more calculated than men when it's come to family, how to taking care of people. Men are tend to usually ball out, like spend on stupid thing a lot. And women who as a mom and have good education tend to think a little bit before spending anything. So like a mom should have a really good understanding education on finance so she can teach her kid on finance so they not gonna fall into financial crisis on don't know how to use the money. Some basic thing, how to make money, how to use money, what money is, and that is can teach by the mom in the house. So we have two categories already. Four for man, the dad, and four for mom, the women. So what is the role that both are shared? The thing that the role that both share the mom and dad is love and common sense. This is the thing that both dads and mom can teach their children is love, how to love each other, what love is, and common sense in life. Things that happen nature plus laws plus all kind of element, common sense, making things that right to the gut. And last one is life experience. Both moms and dad experience different thing in life until the moment they get married and stay in the house together and start to share story to each other. But the children can learn life experience from mom and dad and can learn from both to add up into their library of knowledge and skill set and make them become better. Okay? So let's summarize the role of the father. Let's repeat it again. So the roles of the father in the house is give a heads up on hard time, be a role model, guidance and knowledge, confidence and leadership. That is the four main categories of father. Mother is loves and cares, family value, communication, and finance. And that is thing that mother are good at. And the two that both mother and father are sharing is love, common sense, and life experience. That is a role. Those are roles that parents, classic parents, can do to the kid, contribute to the kid. So, what are the options for people who lost one of their parents? First of all, this don't be self depreciating, okay? Like, don't feel bad. Have a gratitude for what you already have. Have one is better than have not one, right? You either have mom or dad, but don't be sad when you see other people have both. Have a gratitude on it that you still have one, a body that you can learn from. You feel me? Somebody that still look after you instead of have nobody. And if you don't have both, it's okay too. You don't have to have your biological parents or adoption parents present all the time. You have a chance to open your eyes to see the world on this body is already magical, and having them is making it more beautiful. If not, many people out there can be your teacher, can be your parents, can give you good life lessons. So don't feel bad if you don't have both parents or either one. So what happened if you have a mental conflict with your parents? What you should do as a child, as a kid? First is stay calm for a second, because things can catch on fire really quickly when it's happening inside the house. Because the attitude of the parents is a little bit more dominant for the kid. Like, parents tend to giving out order instead of having a discussion and coming out with a solution. You feel me? Like, as parents, we do that pretty often. But as a kid, the first thing that you can do is stay calm for a second. Stay calm. Keep that fire in there for a second before saying anything further. And address the problem as peaceful as possible as an adult. If you are 15, 16, you are considered a young adult already. And I know that at that age is when all the happy things, all the bullshit happen right there. All the fighting, all the argument right there. So as first, if things catch on fire, come down and say, if some people started having insult word coming out, that is when things start to catch on fire. I know that young kids tend to not control over that situation really well. So parents, stop saying those bad words as much as possible. Like, even eliminate that. Don't say things that you don't think before you talking those words out. And as kid, stay calm. And if things too hard and you cannot talk with your brain anymore, you just talk based on your emotion, just say, we're going to come back to this. And go somewhere, either your room or outside, breathe a little bit. And then solve on the table as an adult. Nothing to scare, nothing to worry. I don't care how young you are, how old you are. All people have the right to sit on the table and solve the problem as a civilized human. Okay? Sit on the table, address the problem as peaceful as possible. And parents should have the respect for their children to do that, because that's how a good educated adult should act instead of just verbally insulting each other and then go into a big argument and fighting as an animal. That's not how we do it. We solve it with our verbal first, and then we do something else. Always pick the better option. And another common things that always happen to young kids is their parents keep telling them to do certain things. Either go pick up the trash, clean your room, do your homework, all kind of stuff like that. Simple stuff, nothing complex. And usually the kid just like, oh, I don't want to do it. My God, what's so annoying? Playing your Fortnite, talking to your friend, your mom telling you to take out the trash, and you're like, "Buh, I don't want to do it." Stuff like that, right? It happen all the time. But stay calm before saying anything. You live in the house, right? Remember, as a kid, you live in a family, and people in the family have things to do. Each people contribute different things. So first, stay calm for a second. Especially, I know that when kids like us, we're playing game, we're hanging out with our friends. We hate to be disrespect in front of our friends, right? We start to be fight back with our ego to protect our ego, right? So first, stay calm for a second, or a long moment, okay? Before saying anything. Avoid big destruction argument. Don't just sit on your sofa and screaming out loud, stuff like that. Don't do that. It's not helpful. You need to check up with yourself after that. After you calm down, after like 2 minutes or something like that, you calm down. You check up with yourself again of why they keep repeating that statement. Why they keep telling you to take out the trash. Why they keep telling you to clean your room. Why they keep doing that. Like everything's happened because there's the purpose of why it's happened. There's the reason why. They're telling you to pick out the trash because they don't want the house to smell bad. Right? And you throwing your Capri Sun inside that trash can too, so take it out, let's clean it up, so we have more availability spot to disposing trash, right? All of your chips and bags and stuff like that you throw in the trash, and it's time to take it out. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's your responsibility right there. You eat it, you clean it, no question, okay? And keep your room clean. Make sure that you are properly hygiene, don't get sick and your room smell good instead of smell like garbage facility, you feel me? And that is just normal stuff. That is your parents trying to keep you in good order, have a good habit, have a high standard instead of live like a rat. So like those basic things you should thinking before saying anything back, because the standard is good. Like, I don't say the standard is bad at all. Having a minimum standard of how you should live as a human is good. And that is what severed us with a rat. You feel me? We have a standard. And we have a way that we acting. That is good. And you need to keep the high standard up instead of live like a dirty rat in the sewer. That's not how we do it. And if it's not house chores, and if there's a thing that affect you, like if there's a thing that they tell you to fix, and that problem is affecting you not doing any good, you should consider to doing it. Like you not do exercise, and they keep encouraging you to do exercise. And if you're not doing it, it's not doing you any good. But at the same time, it's affecting your health. So, like, you should consider it a little bit. You should think about it. Because those are good stuff, right? Another thing is, like, this has happened, but it's really complex to say it, is, like, when their opinion violate your personal choice of future. Like, your parents tell you what to do with your future, pick out your career and stuff like that. And those things can be really complex. And this is where talk on the table is come to become a solid point. Is when kids come to the age of 16, 17, 18, they start to figure out what they're trying to do. Like have a curious, not exactly know what to do yet, figured out like exactly their life yet, but start to have a curious of a couple things that they want to try out with life. So like have a great father or great mother or both parents sitting with their kid on the table talking with them is amazing. And usually parents, old school parents, try to be safe, picking things that might give their kids a monthly salary, alive with a car, with a small house, but it might not fit with everybody. So like as a modern parents and children, you guys should have a talk together on the table and say, hey, the kid can say, this is what I want to do. And the job as a parent is not to against it, but to understand what he's standing on and how you can help him. Except when those things can go too much crazy that like it's unbelievable. I mean, either it's super crazy, parents cannot do anything because you are working with a human, not an object. And that's the mistake that many parents make is they treating their kids as an object instead of a subject, like a person without consciousness and thinking. You feel me? Like parents love to give out orders to prove that they are the dominant, but that's not a good thing to do in nowadays society. So like the only thing that the parents can do to improve their children decision on their career is give them the best advice in a reality and give them example about it and support them as much as possible. It's your children's life. Let them live it. Let them try it. There's nothing wrong to let them try out their dreams, okay? Be a civilized human. Dialogue versus violence is really crucial. Back then, you can see violence everywhere. But right now, those things are coming down and down, and I'm glad to see that. Always start with a talk, and then if it's go worse, it's go worse. It's nature. But try to avoid that as much as possible because those things are never happy, okay? And as the kid, to be able to have the power to talk to your parents on the table like that, you need to take accountability to yourself and responsible for yourself, okay? Take care of yourself, educate yourself, and have a responsibility for your decision. And that is when you are able to talk with your parents straight up on the table as a grown up adult, is when you have your own belief and your own knowledge, responsibility for what you're trying to do. Okay? So should you have a family? As a young adult, I think, yeah, I should have a family, and you should too. Why? I think you should try to become a parent, either biologically or adopt, because being a parent is one of the most important role of human on earth. Because without parents, who's gonna carry on the legacy? Who's gonna make the reproduction, make young children carry on our human legacy and history? Who's gonna make more great thing in the future if all of us decide to not having kids anymore? Like all the human population just gone, like nothing going on anymore. You feel me? It's a really important role. And become a parent having a family is challenging and interesting. It's challenge you discipline and it's impact your knowledge. Like all of you, all the things you learn about life is gonna boil down when you have a family. You're gonna actually learn how to use it in your family, how to teach your children how to manage to grow your family, become a healthy, strong, financially stable family. Have a good life. And having a family is like having responsibility for another person, not just yourself. So like I'm saying, as once you got a good hand on yourself and have a family, you are now capable of providing more than just one people. You become more useful human. Okay? And the last question of tonight discussion is, can you live alone? Like, don't need to be married, don't need to have a partner, and don't need to have a family at all. Totally yes. Nobody can tell you what to do. But if you decide to be alone and live your life by yourself to the rest of your life, make sure to be useful, helpful to your community. Enhancing your living condition, because you are a part of the society too. You are the building block of the society too. We are human, and if you improve your community, your society, you're gonna live your life better. You're gonna love your life better, and that is the thing that I recommend you should do. And you have the right to enjoy the life that you wanted to live. Okay, either with a partner, a family, or even stay by yourself. You have the right to live the life you want, but to be sure that be happy and be useful to everybody. Okay, and that is family discussion for tonight. If you like it, make sure to subscribe and like on YouTube and Twitch. And I'm gonna see you next week. Feel free to have any question in the comment section, and I'm gonna come back as soon as I can. Peace, peace. See you next week, people.